What if the darkest versions of the Amazing Digital Circus do not even need monsters? Sometimes all it takes is taking the characters' familiar traits and pushing them to the limit. In one AU, Ragatha does what she has always done. She goes back for someone everyone else has abandoned. But that is exactly what eventually breaks. And in another, Jax is so afraid of losing his sister that he slowly becomes the reason she ends up alone. Today we are looking at The Fog AU and Your Big Brother. Two stories where good intentions lead to very bad consequences. The Fog begins pretty simply. Kane sends the group on another adventure. They have to climb to the top of a massive mountain while a strange fog slowly rises from below. At the top is a portal back to the circus, but it will close in less than 2 hours. And what happens if the fog reaches them first? Kane prefers not to explain. And right away, the AU uses Ragatha's personality perfect. While everyone else panics and argues, she does what she always does and tries to convince them that they can handle it. They just have to work together. For Ragatha, that reaction is almost automatic. When things get worse, she does not think about herself first. She tries to hold the group together, and very soon, that exact trait turns against her. Because Jax has no interest in teamwork. He keeps messing with everyone during the climb, provoking them, until Ragatha finally loses patience. She tells him directly that he is only making everything harder. Jax decides that if no one appreciates him, then he does not need the group at all, and he leaves on his own. At first, it almost looks like Jax made the right choice. He climbs faster than the others, and nearly reaches the top, but then he slips and falls back down into the fog. He calls for help, and no one wants to go back. Zubul thinks Jax brought this on himself. Pomni also decides that after everything he has done, he should find a way out on his own. Even when Gangle points out that climbing back up alone may be almost impossible, the group keeps going, and from their point of view, it is hard to completely blame them. Jax spent the entire climb using other people for his own amusement. Now, for once, the consequences hit him directly. But Ragatha does not think that way. She cannot simply decide he is a bad person, so let him stay down there. For her, helping someone has very little to do with whether they deserve it. The group reaches the portal. Pomni even tells her directly. Jax is not her problem. One by one, everyone goes through. Ragatha stays behind. She looks at the portal, then turns around and goes back for Jax. Ragatha finds Jax in the fog, and even after everything that happened, she still offers to help him. She lets him use her as support so he can climb back up. Even now, Ragatha hopes that maybe Jax will learn something from this. But the moment he gets a chance to escape, he drops her and leaves. And this moment works for more than just the betrayal itself. Ragatha knew exactly what kind of person Jax was, and she still came back. Everyone else chose themselves. Ragatha chose someone else again. And for the first time, instead of gratitude, she gets complete isolation. Once she is alone, Ragatha first comes face to face with her most obvious fear. A centipede appears in the fog. The same thing she is terrified of, even in the original series. But that is not the real danger of the fog. Ragatha runs, hides, and when she finally comes back out, the mountain is gone completely. No summit, no portal, no clear way back. And from the moment, the fog stops attacking her physical fears and starts attacking her thoughts. At first, Ragatha tries to calm herself down. Jax will tell Kane where she is. If not him, Pomni will notice she is missing. Gangle will notice. Someone has to notice. But no one comes. And then a different thought appears. What if everyone already went back to the circus and simply kept living? What if her absence changed nothing? Or what if they noticed but decided she was not worth going back for? And that is much more dangerous than any centipede. Because a huge part of Ragatha's identity is built around one idea, that other people need her. And for the first time, the fog forces her to imagine a world where that may not be true. That is when Kinger appears from the fog. But this is not the normal Kinger she knows. Behind him are the shapes of people. The circus has already lost. Slowly, it becomes clear that the fog works almost like a space in between, a normal state, an abstraction. And Kinger acts almost like a guide. Ragatha still resists. She says she has to go back, that the others need her. Pomni needs her. Gangle needs her. Even Jax, in his own way, needs her too. And then Kinger asks the question, that changes the meaning of the whole story. Did they really need Ragatha? Or did Ragatha need to feel needed? And this is where the AU stops being just a story about a kind character being abandoned. A much more uncomfortable idea appears. Maybe Ragatha did not always help people only because she was a good person. Maybe she needed to know that things would be worse without her, because that gave her a reason to feel important. But now, for the first time, she is the one who needs help, and no one comes. Ragatha stops arguing. She stops telling herself everything will be fine, and finally admits one thing: she is tired. And apparently, she has been tired for a very long time. Kinger reaches out his hand, and Ragatha follows him deeper into the fog. There, she finally abstracts. When the others return to the circus, they learn that Jax left Ragatha behind. Pomni is furious, but Kane reacts completely differently. To him, it feels like a technical problem. Ragatha got left inside the adventure? No big deal. He can just bring her back. Kane snaps his fingers, and she really does appear. But she comes back abstracted, and that creates a strong contrast. For the group, something irreversible happened. They lost a person. For Kane, it was just a mistake he thought he could fix with one command. But even that is not the most important part of the fog. Jax alone is not what breaks Ragatha. What breaks her is what comes after. Her whole life in the circus, she was the person who went back for everyone else. And when she was finally the one left behind, no one came back for her. And maybe that is why Ragatha's story feels so familiar even outside the circus. In real life, there are people who are always the first to offer help. They listen to everyone else's problems, they agree to help again, even when they are already exhausted. And over time, people can get so used to that kindness that they start treating it like something automatic. Not necessarily because they are bad people, but if someone always says, "I'm fine," eventually others stop asking whether they really are. Ragatha becomes exactly that kind of person. Everyone gets used to the fact that she is always the one who comes back, so no one expects the moment when someone finally needs to come back for her. And the fog pushes that idea to the darkest possible ending. Your big brother begins very differently. Here we see the result immediately. Jax walks through the empty circus and stops outside his sister Ribbit's room. There is already a red X on the door, a sign of abstraction. She has been gone for a week. Jax still goes inside, sits beside the empty bed, and for the first time completely stops being the Jax we know. He cries, calls himself the worst brother in the world, and starts wondering if he destroys everyone who gets close to him. So the story tells us right away, Ribbit is already gone. The question is not what happened to her. The question is, why does Jax believe it was his fault? To understand that, the story goes back. Before this, the group loses Mousy, and after her abstraction, a real crack begins to form between Jax and Ribbit. Mousy had spent her final days searching for a way out of the circus. For Ribbit, that becomes a reason to continue her work. If Mousy believed an exit existed, then someone should at least try to find it. She joins Ragatha and Kaufmo and forms the exit crew. They secretly question NPCs, search restricted areas, push Kane for answers, and collect anything that might lead to an exit. But Ribbit tells Jax nothing. She wants to surprise him once she has something real. And what is interesting is that Jax experiences the exact same event in the opposite way. Ribbit looks at Mousy and thinks she never got the chance to find the exit. Jax looks at her and thinks searching for the exit is what destroyed her. They are both afraid of abstraction. One sees escape as the solution, the other sees giving up the search as the solution. After weeks of searching, Ribbit discovers a strange grid-like area. There she finds a mysterious pink creature, and after touching it, she notices strange symbols. She immediately starts writing everything down. Drawings, observations, every detail that might matter. Until now, the exit crew had barely found anything. But this is the first time Ribbit feels like they may have a real lead. Later she meets Jax and happily tells him they may finally be able to go home. She shows him the sketchbook, tells him about the exit crew, the months of searching, and the first real clue. Ribbit expects almost any reaction, but Jax does something else. He takes the sketchbook and throws it straight into the volcano. In seconds, everything Ribbit worked on is gone. And from this point, their conflict is no longer just about the exit. Jax has decided that he has the right to choose what is safe for his sister. Ribbit says she will keep searching anyway, but Jax explains why he does not even want to leave, and his argument is not as irrational as it sounds. In the real world, they had no stability. They had to worry about money, food, normal life. Here, at least, most of those problems do not exist. The circus is terrible, but it is predictable. Jax understands its rules, and most importantly, he has already seen what happens to people who obsess over finding an exit. So in his mind, Ribbit is not saving herself. She is following the same path as Mousy, but Ribbit sees it differently. Yes, life outside was hard, but at least that life belonged to her. She could choose who she wanted to be, where to go, how to live, even how she looked. Inside the circus, none of that is hers. You can be safe and still be a prisoner. And when Jax asks what home she is even trying so hard to return to, Ribbit answers simply, home was never a place. As long as they had each other, they could build it anywhere. And that is the real tragedy of their conflict. They are both trying to protect the same thing, each other. But Ribbit believes they have to escape, while Jax believes the only way not to lose her is to make her stay. After that, Jax decides to act. If the exit crew keeps pushing Ribbit to search, then the exit crew has to stop. He goes to Gangle and tells him to stop giving her new sketchbooks. Then he warns Kaufmo to stay away from her. And finally, he confronts Ragatha and accuses her of leading Ribbit toward abstraction. And this is where Jax becomes more interesting than a simple villain. He's not thinking, I want to hurt my sister. In his mind, it is the opposite. He believes he is finally doing what he should have done earlier, removing the risk, removing the people who support the dangerous idea. The problem problem is, he is also removing her support. The next day, Ribbit comes out to see the others. She goes to Gangle, but he quickly leaves. Then Kaufman and Ragatha do the same. No one explains the real reason, and within minutes, Ribbit is completely alone. The only person left beside her is Jax, so he gets exactly what he wanted. No one is helping her search for an exit anymore. No one is supporting the exit crew. But Ribbit does not become calmer. She just becomes lonelier. And only then does Jax start to understand that his plan worked too well. He wanted to remove everything from her life. That could lead to abstraction. But along with the danger, he also removed the people who might have noticed she was starting to break. And the most tragic part is that we already know from the first scene, it still does not save her. Ribbit abstracts, and Jax is left beside her empty bed, trying to understand when protecting someone turned into trying to control their life. And that is why Your Big Brother is not just a story about a bad brother. Jax really does love Ribbit, but his fear of losing her eventually becomes stronger than his ability to listen to what she wants. And maybe that is why Jax's story also feels so familiar. Sometimes someone can be so afraid of losing a person they love that they start deciding what is best for them. At first it looks like care, but once you take away the other person's choices, care can turn into control very quickly. And that is exactly what happens with Jax. He wanted to keep Ribbit close, but in the end, he only made her world smaller. And if you put these two AUS side by side, they are almost mirrors of each other. In the fog, Ragatha keeps giving herself to everyone else and breaks when she realizes no one will do the same for her. In Your Big Brother, Jax tries so hard to protect one person that he slowly takes everything else away from her. One story shows what can happen when you need too badly to feel needed. The other, what can happen when the fear of losing someone turns care into control. But which of these two stories do you think is darker? Do you think Ragatha would have abstracted if even one person had gone back for her? And could Jax actually have saved Ribbit if he had simply let her keep searching? Or would her story have ended the same way anyway? Tell me what you think in the comments. And if you want another part with more AUs, subscribe.